folks.
All right, we are on the air.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, yeah.
You're live, Mickey?
We're live right now.
Mickey, you can't just hit me.
Well, we haven't started recording it, so.
Hang on,
I got everything. Yeah, mine's doing the same thing.
I got a weird wire. I think I'm good now.
Make sure you're really talking to your microphone.
Yeah. I just listened to the stream.
It was more like me trying to face you guys.
Yeah.
To you.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, you weren't as big a deal. There was one moment where you were just like here, and then you're.
All right. Well, we are on air.
And then I shall start the recording in. Oh wait.
We'll clap in too. Ugh, my wire's fucked up.
This is
No, something else is doing it because I'm hearing it too.
It's good now.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
We were just getting feedback basically, or like getting static on our headphones.
Yeah.
All right, start recording in 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right.
And it's recording everything, video, audio, all of it.
Yep.
God, I love technology. Sorry, let me pull up my notes. I don't even know where I want to go with this one, really.
You want to check the live stream and make sure that we're not hearing that. You're not hearing anything, are you? You're not hearing any static on yours?
I know. I hear it in my.
I heard a little bit in mine. Are you getting any static on your headphones, Matt?
Maybe a little bit.
Check the stream and see if it's coming through there.
That's what I'm gonna hear.
Sounds fine.
I think it's just our headphone wires.
Yeah, it might just be our headphones.
Yeah.
I did hear a little bit of like a ringing, and I messaged you about it.
Any very low will be fine because I can noise reduce that.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get
Low
into
humming
it.
is
Come on,
easy.
clap in.
Let's do it. Let's clap in. All right. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. That was a great clap. That was awesome.
Best clap yet.
All right. Yeah, literally our best clap ever. All right. Kick us off, Matt.
Lucas, how are you spending Valentine's Day?
If Katie's listening, spending it chocolate, wine, fancy restaurant, loving each other. That's how I'm spending Valentine's Day.
Loving on each other. Well, you could do that. You could. I'm not going to lie. That is an option. Or you could spend it with a virtual girl or guy on a dating simulator.
Or horse.
Or
microwave.
Or with the KFC guy. Yeah. Everyone, today we are talking about dating sims.
Yes, this is our Valentine's themed Anything's Possible episode for everybody out there.
All the wonderful fans, all the wonderful people. So really quickly, for anyone that's not familiar with a dating sim, kind of the basic thing of it is really, it is a game that is focused and centered around trying to, as it kind of explains itself, to date someone. And this can take a variety of formats. It can be through the format of a visual novel. It could be through the format of
farming.
Well, that's kind of interesting. We can get into that a little bit. Those games might not be strictly dating sims, but have dating sim elements. Or,
right.
It could be a game where maybe you're just going through high school and you're also dating people. Dating simulators are interesting. Lucas, do you have any experience with them?
So, what's funny is I have experience with the visual novel genre, which I've played like 4 or 5 Phoenix Wright games. Those are all like visual novel, right?
Esque.
Visual. Well, they are, right? All right. Would you consider those not visual novels?
I'd consider something like...
I guess they're visual novel puzzles. Puzzle games.
Yeah. I don't know. Keep talking.
I don't know. Maybe it's interesting genre question right there. But, the basic tenet is it's mostly a dialogue-driven game where there's just like a character in front of you that you're interfacing with and talking to and going down dialogue trees. That's basically what the visual novel dating sim mechanics are, right? It's just the mechanic is going down dialogue trees, mostly reading, and romancing characters. I don't have a ton of experience. The big one was obviously Doki Doki Literature Club, which we did a couple years ago for the pod. Probably not the best dating sim first go for me. I don't know if people could agree or disagree, but it was
it's kind of interesting too, because I was reading just up on, to be candid, Wikipedia, and they don't necessarily consider like visual novels to be dating sims per se, because they consider a dating sim to be something that has more stat based. So like maybe you appeal, X amount of action. You do this action, and then it raises your stats +5 with someone. Whereas visual novels are typically, whereas a visual novel is typically just on a branching storyline with what dialogue options you choose.
Okay.
But then there are games like Doki Doki, right? And like one of the big things with Doki Doki that influences what girl you pursue before things go to hell is the poems you do, right? And you choose different things in the poem, and those kind of
Right.
stack up like points and things that influence.
Right.
So
okay.
there's little nuances like that, and you can argue what is or isn't a dating sim. But I think where Lucas and I agree, and I think Hot Mickey, our guest producer today, agrees as well, is that for the sake of today's episode, a dating sim will include visual novels,
Mm-hmm.
will include more stat-like games, maybe like Brooktown High, which I played a little bit growing up. We can talk about that. It's a weird one for me. As well as, many games also have dating sim elements while not being outright a dating sim game.
Right.
Say like Mass Effect 2, Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley. All these games, Skyrim, have certain elements to it where you can romance and wine and dine people and things like that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
each is very unique in its own right. But Lucas, what do you think is really the appeal of dating sims? Why do we like playing them?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So we were doing some light research on the dating sim genre for this episode, and you do find a lot of critical commentary on dating sims here and there, where a lot of people will tout dating sim as like a relationship with a digital, or the attempt to have a relationship with like a digital character, or like because you may be lacking romantic connection in your own life, you seek it out in like a video game form or something like that. I'm not that cynical. I don't really view it like that. I think dating sims can be entertaining and fun, just outright. That being said, there are some very weird dating sims. There's like a lot of weird dating sims out there that can like go down this really weird psychological path, like the brony, like the My Little Pony dating sim, right? Like it's a little problematic.
Bronies are another breed, man.
Sorry if we have any My Little Pony fans out there, but I think stuff like that can kind of fall into a little bit of a weird zone where it's like, okay, are you playing this because you actually have like really romantic or inappropriate fantasies about X, Y, or Z's, X, Y, Z, whatever. But I think for the most part, a lot of dating sims are kind of just fun and interesting, quirky, and silly. In fact, a lot of them kind of, their whole appeal is that they're very silly, or the whole appeal is that they're like over the top or weird.
Yeah. And then I think there's also other side of it too, where I think for a lot of people, I was reading an article on Twinfinite where the quote one member from like just a random community page had. They go by the pseudonym of Suran Sama. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. I don't think they're listening, but there you go. And also they're called Otome Games, which that's what they're known as in Japan. Which, fun fact, depending on how you choose to translate it, it either translates to maiden game or virgin game.
Okay, does that mean you're romancing a maiden or a virgin, or you are a maiden or a virgin?
We'll leave it open to interpretation.
Either way, that's pretty loaded language, possibly in a translation.
Yeah. But the big appeal you talk about in these games is you get to indulge in like partners and approach relationships in a way you never would in real life, right? And it's its own unique form of escapism. And I think what's really cool about them too is that you do kind of typically in these games that are more like romance centered, you do really get to kind of like dive in and you get a deep picture of these characters' psyches. Again, I think a great example of that is Doki Doki, which obviously I have both played. Like when Natsuki's just getting like destroyed and glitching out, I feel bad because like she's like she's detailed her whole life story to me. It's a very sad and tragic life story, and of course you're going to get a little bit attached naturally to these characters. It's not uncommon to get attached to a character in a video game or a television show or any medium for that matter, or a book. And it's not unlike, say, a parasocial relationship, right, with a streamer. Because whether we intend for that to happen or not, and to be clear, whether the streamers intend for it to happen or not, I think it's just a product of, if you spend a certain amount of time with someone in a video game or even just on
a podcast. Yeah, some people out there.
Or whether you're just watching said streamer for hours on end every other day or every day or whatever, you will inherently develop a little bit of these parasocial relationships where you feel like, oh, they're my friend.
Right.
Or, oh, they're maybe a dating simulation, they're my partner.
They're a partner, right?
Yeah.
But for those of you that have that parasocial relationship with your podcasts that you listen to, we are your friend. Just want to throw that out there.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And you can engage with us on any number of social platforms, including Discord, or maybe
Yes.
reaching out via email, just as a little reminder.
Find our Discord on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok in the link tree. TP Podcast with an S at the end, and our website. Thanks for playing .live.
That's right. And by the way, before I forget, we do have Hot Mickey on as a guest producer for this episode as well.
Yes, lovely Hot Mickey, hot
Yeah.
as ever.
Hot Mickey, you want to say something?
Just want to say thanks for having me on here.
All right. Yeah. He's controlling the stream this time around. And Hot Mickey, are you a big fan of dating sims?
I haven't even played Doki Doki. I've never played one.
Okay. Visual
Besides-
novels?
Besides the one time that that BroCal forced me to sit through one of those.
We.
You want to talk about that, or should we leave that out?
I'll talk about it.
Okay. You want to talk about our friend group's personal experience with dating sims?
So, well, first let me preface this with one of our good friends, Ricky, mutual friend to all of us.
I'll just step aside. Let you tell this one.
I've known Ricky since high school, and we've always both been into like anime and everything like that. And then one dark, rainy day, he introduced me to visual novels. Started off with some wholesome ones. There's one called Katawa Shouju, which is where your main character starts off as just a normal dude, and then he ends up having like a heart attack, and you find out he has like a heart disability that just really puts him at risk, basically. So he gets sent to this, after months in the hospital, gets sent to this school where you're it's meant for anyone with limitations or disabilities, however you want to phrase it. And gets thrown in there, and he's like all upset to be there at first, and then eventually he meets these 5 girls, each with their own unique disability, whether that's blindness, deafness, missing arms, missing legs, and while you go about your school life, you get the option to romance these girls. And I'll never forget Ricky and then our friend Ben and I, we probably up until 5 a.m. playing this game together one day, just rolling through it. And then I'll never forget, we're just in my friend Ricky's room, and we're all just like staring at this screen, like, while the girls, talking and doing whatever. And then our friend Ricky's dad just like walks in and looks at us, just like nods his head and walks out. Ricky's dad, shout out to Ricky's dad, Mr. Inocencio. And then,
Careful the light, Mickey.
so we did a lot of that. And then eventually things got a little bit darker in our friend group. And we started playing something like, I don't know, Bible Black, or God, there's another one out there. I forget what it's called. But long story short, we dove into some hentai visual novel dating sims as well. Probably not the healthiest thing to do back in the day. Don't really recommend them, to be honest, either.
Yeah.
But it was something we did. It's something we tried out, and that was my first. Actually, that's not even my first experience with the visual novels, but we can get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But then, anyways, eventually, while we were all at a Smash tournament together, we traveled up to one in NorCal. We all sat down and we all just played some hentai visual novel games together, including Mickey.
It was kind of fun.
Mickey didn't really want to, though, but
yeah.
he was a good sport about it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so that is the
Well,
short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to comment on that, because I was in the room when that had come up one time. It's really the ridiculousness and the over the topness of at least those games that
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean, it's all insane what's happening.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Sometimes it's like, I mean, if it's a good dating sim, like it might feel like a very organically built up relationship. You actually have to like make the right choices with dialogue and stuff. But
Yeah.
when it comes to some of those other ones, you could say anything and they'll just end up naked on the screen. Yeah, it's just like, okay.
It's pretty weird from the outside looking in, for sure. But there's also some that are more like outright dating sims. I'll never forget. I don't know why I bought this game when I was younger, or like what spurred me on to get it, but there's one game I played on the PSP. It's called Bricktown High, and
It's a PSP dating sim?
it's a PSP dating sim video game
Whoa.
where you're just a person in high school, and it's just like the beginning of the game. You answer some basic questions where it kind of sets up your base stats and puts you into a different social niche. So you might be a part of the jocks, you might be a part of the geeks, the art people, the preps, the nerds, whatever it may be. And then you have the option to just kind of, go about getting good grades and go about trying to ask out girls to the school dances. And me, being the socially inept high schooler I probably was, thought this game was great. And I think I played it in middle school, actually, so before high school, so I'll give myself that much credit. But yeah, that was my first real experience with dating sims. And it's a proper dating sim game, stats and all, not just a visual novel. So, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that was my intro experience.
I really like what you wrote here about how there's so many games that have dating sim elements or borrow from dating sims, and then they work it into their main game. I think that's pretty cool, because basically, kind of I played a lot of Stardew Valley, and I'm married in Stardew Valley.
Congrats!
Shout out to my girl Maru. She's the best girl in Pelican Town, in my opinion. Best single individual. She's super.
I still
smart.
have not played any Stardew Valley.
Do you like farming sim games?
I liked Harvest Moon back in the day, but I've just never touched any of them in years.
I mean, Stardew Valley to me is just pure like chill.
Yeah.
Enough, sit back. It's probably the chillest game in existence, honestly. And no time limit. Just kind of keep doing your thing, season over season, year over year, vibing, raising cattle, raising chickens. Love Stardew Valley. And I like these games that do have basically. I don't know if you can even make this stretch, but even in WoW, there's reputation bars with different factions and stuff like that, and stats that basically control your relationship with different segments of the population within that game.
Well, yeah, even say Fallout New Vegas was a great game that did that, or Outer Worlds, one of the games you did for the podcast.
Totally, and in fact, that's kind of become a main mechanic or stat within a lot of AAA games is okay, how well are you associated with this faction? How well did these people like you? You know, and it's kind of like the dating sim stats that you mentioned, but just exploded into groups of people rather than individuals.
Yeah,
and I think it's a mainstay sort of mechanic that's now in most AAA games, and then even romancing individuals in Cyberpunk, right? Or romancing an individual. I didn't know Persona 5 actually had that. It's kind of interesting. So you can have a girlfriend or a boyfriend in Persona 5.
I don't know explicitly a boyfriend and girlfriend. I think you can go on dates and stuff.
Love that.
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, some of the notable ones. Yeah, Mass Effect 2, Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, Cyberpunk, Fire Emblem, Three Houses.
I didn't know that either.
Skyrim, Persona 5, even Hades has romance options. You can sleep with Megara.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And there's one of the guys that shows up where you in certain rooms where you have to kill more enemies than him or something.
Yes.
You can have a 3-way with him and Meg, I'm pretty sure.
No way.
Yeah.
Hot Mickey, can you fact check that? That's crazy. that's wild.
Yeah, it's Hades that's a really cool game. Go listen to our episode on that if you haven't.
You have reputation with each individual character in Hades anyway too. So the more you talk to people, even the really annoying guy that you talk to in the very beginning, who always comments when you die. He's like, "Oh, you really died back there to the guy."
Yeah.
You can build up reputation with that guy and then eventually get items from him. So, there's a inkling of the kind of dating sim mechanic all throughout Hades, even, which makes the game a little bit, fun, really fun, honestly.
Oh, it's totally
another
fun,
layer.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of funny how so many games end up borrowing the basic mechanic of the dating sim and kind of reapplying that to different games as well as a secondary. Pretty cool.
Let's see. And then I think you did a little research. You want to tell us about the first ever dating sim game?
Yeah, so the first ever dating sim, at least according to some articles that I had found online, I'm going to really butcher this one. I don't know if you could help me out with this one. It's Dokuyusei?
I'll buy that. Sounds good.
Dokuyusei is a slice of life PC CD-ROM game from 1992/1995. 1992, I believe, in Japan, 95 in America. It's just it's a really old version of what we know as today, and there's actually not that much. There's really not that much information on it other than it. I mean, it's so early, 92.
Yeah.
So it's the earliest example we have of a dating simulation game. It's all not a ton. I mean, there's not even a lot of systems in it or anything like that. It's just dialogue, mild trees and stuff like that, from what I understand.
OG PC game. What's really interesting too is a lot of these like dating sims and visual novels are actually what end up spurring on anime series.
Yeah, walk me
Like,
through that.
I mean, I don't know where it is. I mean, not often will you find an anime that it's just that anime. You know, most animes have some sort of source material, whether that's a manga, a video game, or in this case, well, video game / visual novel. For example, Clanad started out as a visual novel, then it got into anime, which is kind of a dating
Right,
sim.
you mentioned that.
What else is there?
Didn't Steins Gate start out as a
Steins Gate
visual
was a
novel?
visual novel, but it's not a dating sim, I don't think. I'm pretty confident there's no dating sim elements in that. But yeah, Steins Gate was a visual novel, then went to anime. Bible Black, visual novel, then went to anime. Discipline, fuck, that was the other one we made you play.
Discipline is Bible Black, right?
No, it's separate.
No. I didn't play through Bible Black. It's just Discipline.
Discipline,
It's
yeah.
just Discipline.
So Discipline is just a different.
Different hentai visual novel. I think that got its own hentai anime after the fact. So yeah, a lot of visual novels end up offshooting into anime, which is kind of interesting too, because especially with something like Clanad, where I mean we talked about Clanad we will be talking about Clanad in an episode that comes out 2 weeks from today on anime. Mount Rushmore is a little bit of spoiler there, but what's interesting about Clanad is, I mean, when you take a visual novel and put it into anime form, it's interesting because it inherently creates its own canon within that universe now. Because it's like, obviously with these visual novels, there's gonna be so many different options you can take, and so many different paths you can take. People you can end up with if it's a dating element game, and then when you go in the anime, I mean, obviously for the anime, there's only gonna be really one path you can follow, one linear path. It's not gonna, you don't get the option to pick things. So it's interesting how it can kind of make certain endings and certain paths canon per se.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So I wanted to talk real quick about kind of the how there's so many dating sims out there. Like if you just Google it, you'll find so many. There's like so many fan.
There's a KFC one.
There's a KFC one. That was a huge one.
Colonel Sanders.
That got like a lot. I mean, KFC's like. I remember when that dating sim came out. This is actually really. I'm glad you brought that up. So, like, I remember when that came out. It was probably like 3-4 years ago when it dropped. Hot Mickey can fact check the KFC dating sim. I remember when that came out. It was really like big because it was like
2019.
2019, 3 years ago. I was right. It was literally. It's an official
Actually,
KFC
close to
dating.
2.5 is like 2019.
Okay, whatever. It's a marketing plan. It's a marketing scheme from KFC, right? And it's like trying to take the brand and do something with it, similar to like what Wendy's does with their Twitter account or something, or Moonpie does with their Twitter account. It's just like creating virality for a brand by doing something that like a younger generation will like latch onto a little bit more. And like the KFC dating sim looks visually pretty good.
It looks like a dating sim.
It doesn't look bad. Yeah. It looks better than most dating sims that you even find out there that are like either fan made or otherwise, And like, I think that's just an interesting thing. There's a dating sim called My Horse Prince. It's pretty popular. My girlfriend really wanted me to talk about that one. Katie loves that one. She loves horses, and she likes My Horse Prince. Sorry, Katie. And there's 3 main engines that have really like constructed a lot of these games. There's a Twinery, which is an open source tool for interactive storytelling and nonlinear stories. Ren'Py, visual novel engine also, and Construct.net. So there's all these different engines that you could actually go to them right now and build your own visual novel or dating sim. And that's why there's so much there's so many that come around because fans can just jump in. I saw like a Mudkip dating simulator. It's like the Pokemon Mudkip that you can romance. Someone just built that, There was like a Lovecraftian Cthulhu themed dating sim where it was like a female Cthulhu. There's a a cyberpunk themed dating sim where you're romancing like Johnny Silverhand.
Really?
Yeah, and it's actually approved by CD Projekt Red. Like they didn't like cease and desist it. They just said like, all right, that's fine.
I might have to check that out.
So it's like basically if it exists, there's a dating sim of it is what I kind of get. And it just kind of shows the passion and like, how much people both love the genre and love to like keep iterating on it and just making new versions of stuff. And I'm sure there's like even weirder. Like if there's an anime, there's probably a fan made dating sim of like there's probably Attack on Titan dating sim.
Probably.
Yeah.
What kind of going back a little bit too, I think and this is more just a general thing with games, but it's really interesting how accessible it actually is to have some sort of foot in game development and to play around with it.
Totally.
I mean, this whole week you were telling me about how you're playing around with the Unreal Engine 4,
yeah.
making your own little game demo in there, and then, I mean, just here I list off 3 that you can use to kind of make some variation of a dating sim or visual novel. There's so many RPG makers, things like that.
Unity. Source, mods, everything.
It really is incredible, and ultimately, like, a huge net positive for anyone that's interested in dabbling, because at the end of the day, when the more accessibility art is for people, the more accessibility people have to these things, whether it's art or game development, it's just going to be a net positive because there's
for sure
more opportunity for incredible, things to come about, people to dreamers that maybe don't have like in the industry to go and express their, put their game out there and express it in their own way rather than like being potentially constantly rejected from studio after studio, things like that. So really cool to see.
I love it too. Who knows, like somebody that built, the Cyberpunk dating sim is going to be a story designer for some huge AAA studio in 20 years.
Well, it's great, like, because it gives them like entries to build you on a resume, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. And everything, I've noticed this a lot with podcasts lately too. Like, you can't get credibility until you have credibility with one of those things, right?
Totally.
You have to have, you have to have the 5 years of experience to get the entry level job type of thing. And what I love about this and the accessibility to game development is how much opportunity it affords people to get that experience in their own manner.
Totally. And it's like with a lot of these visual novel or dating sim engines that people are using is like, you could even look visually at the websites. Again, that's twinery.org, renp.org, and construct.net. You can just Google dating sim engines or visual novel engines and find them. They're teaching people how to think like an interactive storyteller, which is a translatable skill to basically every video game that is played today with a storyline. And I think it's great because like people are cutting their teeth and learning interactive story using these engines. So there's going to be a wave of really solid story designers in the next generation or the next one.
So the Cyberpunk one you were talking about earlier, dating sim?
Yeah.
It's called Cyberbang 2069.
All right.
It's so silly.
Hot Mickey, you going to play that one?
No.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. You got anything else on dating sims?
Nothing for me. Hot Mickey, anything you want to chime in and add?
Nothing off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I think my big takeaway is don't just write dating sims off. I mean, hey, 10 years ago it was weird to watch anime. Now fucking everyone's watching anime.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, everyone's going to be playing dating sims, and we're all just going to live in the metaverse.
Yeah. No.
With haptic feedback suits.
That's a really big point, actually, you raised, is like, how are dating sims going to function in the metaverse? They're probably going to be that's probably going to be what a lot of people end up doing, right?
Especially once we get to the point where AI can be maybe like learn on its own. I mean, shit.
That actually, maybe
it's kind of scary.
AI or procedural generation with dating sims. Like, who knows how far this genre can really be taken?
Yeah.
Right? Because I think like it's been a tried and true genre for the last almost 30 years. And then even something like, I know Doki Doki took a lot of the conventions of the genre and really broke the third wall. And it's really like, I think has made an impact in terms of like, whoa, like, I mean, it certainly made an impact on me when we did it for the episode. Definitely, those of you check out our Doki Doki episode.
Really fun episode.
Really fun episode. And I mean, who knows where the medium's going to go next, right? Because there is always the next level and the next level. Maybe procedural generation, AI, text to voice or text to speech could be like the next step where you're not even reading, but you're fully interacting with other AI. Maybe these story designers making dating sims now are eventually going to take on the next set of tools or the next generation of technology to eventually make something better.
And what's interesting to think about, too, and spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't played Doki Doki here, in Doki Doki, one of the main, not gimmicks, but like one of the main things it does is, by design, Monica breaks the fourth wall in the game and starts like messing with the game files, but it's all by design, of course. But, it's feasible to think that we're not far off from where something like that can happen
I
in
know.
a dating sim or can happen in the metaverse or whatever, and it's not by design. Just a scary thought.
Oh man, wow.
Yeah, who
Kinda
knows?
broke my brain there.
But I think that's all we got today, everyone. If you want, please, you can find us online on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at TFP Podcast. That's TFP Podcast with an S at the end. And in the link tree in our bios on each of those socials, you can find our Discord as well as link to our YouTube channel. We're going to be up in the YouTube channel content here. We're getting a lot more clickbaity with our titles.
We
So
are.
look forward to that. Hoping to really kick into that algorithm there with YouTube. As well, what else do we got? Thanks for playing .live is our website. Come hang out there. Shoot us an email, thanksforplayingpod@gmail.com. And if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. Helps us grow organically and get the good word out to you, the good people.
That's right.
And if you want to hang out with your good buddy Matt, you can find me on Twitter at Good Idea Matthew, where you will find me tweeting about occasionally video games, but mostly complaining about U.S. soccer. Lucas,
Love
where
it.
can we find you?
The best place you can find me right now is our Discord server. People have been hitting me up on Discord, expressing their love and their fandom for the podcast. Always love that. Talk to me about hot takes, video game opinions. What is the best Zelda game, in your opinion? Do you agree or disagree with my opinion on Kingdom Hearts? Hit me up on Discord and let me know.
Love it. Hot Mickey, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you gotta plug the big one.
I'm pretty much just on Twitter and Discord. Twitter, you can find me at Teals_BCB. And right now, I am doing a campaign because I compete in a Smash game called Project M. And there's an invitational going on right now that's going to be fan voted to see which players get in. And I want to try to compete with the best players right now. And you can find that information in our Discord, actually. I posted in the self-promotion channel.
That's right.
So you can find it's just a really easy Google Doc to fill out. You just got to fill in your name or gamer tag and then just select which candidate you want to vote for. And that's all there is to it. So that's Google Doc.
When does voting close for that?
The 16th.
So this will be out by
This'll be
then.
after. Oh, yes.
So, right?
So by then.
Will it? Hold
Yeah,
on.
no,
I
no,
don't
yeah,
want to lie to you.
By then, yes.
This drops the 10th, so this will be out by then.
This one's coming out.
This
Okay.
one's coming out this week.
Yeah, so
Cool.
the voting will still be live.
Support Hot Mickey, everyone.
I
He's
appreciate
hot.
it.
His name's Mickey.
Yeah,
Sickest Meta Knight to ever do it in Project M.
that's right. Literally. Yeah.
Crazy ledge cancels shenanigans with that cape. But all right, everyone. This has been Thanks for Playing, and remember, anything's possible. That's it. That's the show.